Welcome back everyone to Syracuse Aviation. Today we have a very exciting video regarding a new flight or destination route, whatever you want to call it, coming to Syracuse. It will be announced tomorrow. There are a few hints as to what it could be, what airline might be serving the route. We just don't know yet. We have been given one hint by the airport authority that it's a route that has been served in the past, but it's coming back after it was paused for a while or canceled. There's a few different things to consider. So first off, this is very complex, and I have a group chat with a couple friends of mine from the area who have been giving some input as to what it could be. I've sent some things as well. So I'm going to start with the fact that Delta operated this flight before COVID. I don't know if they shut it down because of COVID, or maybe it was a little bit before that. Whatever it was operated on an A319 overnight, I think, at least during the summer. I don't know what it was other times of the year. And it was supposed to come back last September on a CRJ 900. That didn't end up happening. So my biggest guess, my most confident guess, I guess we could say, is that it's Minneapolis. We just need to figure out who. It could be Delta, it could be Sun Country. Anyone else is like out of the question, because the only two airlines that really have a hub out of Minneapolis are Delta and Sun Country. It's not like Breeze would come along because Delta dropped their route because they don't even fly to Minneapolis. On the other hand, that is what we thought with Las Vegas. How could it be Vegas if they don't fly there? Maybe Breeze is adding a new destination, but I don't think that that's very likely at all. So, and even if it was, I don't think Syracuse would be one of the first destinations they would serve from a city like Minneapolis. So I'm going to say it's Minneapolis between Delta or Sun Country. We don't know who yet. The best case would be Sun Country, because if Sun Country comes, the likelihood of them ditching the airport shortly after they start service is pretty low, even if another airline like Delta comes in to compete. But if Sun Country comes first, Delta likes to defend their turf, and so Delta would be pretty likely to resume the old service that they had, competing with Sun Country, which would be great because this would be more flights for the airport. On the other hand, if Delta came first, we'd have that resumed, thankfully, which would be great, but Sun Country wouldn't have really any reason at all to start this service again. So there's that. I'm scrolling through my list here, and again, it might not be Minneapolis at all. There's other airports that we've had in the past, such as Salt Lake City on Delta, which actually operated, I think they had like 4 oddball flights within a month to Salt Lake, and I think the load factors were all over 80%. So it could be Salt Lake, but I don't think it's Salt Lake, because I think just Minneapolis makes a lot more sense before Salt Lake does. If they haven't resumed Minneapolis, there's no way they're adding Salt Lake. So I don't think it's Salt Lake. It could be, but I think the chances are very slim. Pittsburgh we've had. I don't think it's Pittsburgh. It just makes no sense. San Juan is another one on this list, which I don't know who flew that, but, you know, there it is. Could be Air Canada to Toronto. That would be insane. I would lose it if we got Toronto back. That'd be crazy. I don't think it is. It's just I don't know. It can't be Toronto. I don't see that happening for a long time again, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. It just makes sense. So, looking through this list here. Sorry, I didn't really plan this video out. It's more of a spur of the moment type of thing. So I'm looking through these points. Another thing is that the airport is making a pretty big deal out of this. They're like, tomorrow we're having this big announcement of a new route that's, or a route that's coming back, and they're really excited about it. Last time that Delta announced that they were going to resume Minneapolis, no one said a word. It just appeared in the Delta schedule, and no one said anything about it. Like, the route was going to continue, but there's no press, no nothing. And now they're making a big deal out of it. I feel like if they're making a big deal out of it, somehow it's a little bit more important. That could just be because the gap between when they served it and now has maybe been, it's definitely been longer, and that could be the reason for this, but something seems different about this. There was also an article, published last spring, I think, or maybe last summer, somewhere in there, about Sun Country serving smaller airports like Syracuse, and it specifically mentioned Syracuse could be an airport that Sun Country would fly to from Minneapolis because of Delta's suspension. That's another good point. Okay, what else here? Sun Country usually uploads their schedules the night before the official announcement. So if it is Sun Country, we should know by tonight. In which case, I'll probably make another video tonight or tomorrow about it. Sun Country would be our 9th airline, which would be really awesome for an airport the size of ours. Already gave the turf war spiel. The airport said one of our airline partners, rather than this airline, will be resuming this service. I feel like if it was Delta resuming Minneapolis, they would have said the airline that served this is going to continue with it, or something along those lines. Maybe not. I just feel like that's what they would have said, but they said one of our airline partners is going to start flying this route again. It seems like the way that they've said things, again, there's very few things that they've said about this, but when you're given a clue, you pick it apart like crazy. Like, 'cause especially if it's something like this that you really want to know about, you're going to pick it apart a ton. So that's what I've been doing, my friends and I. Something about this feels like Sun Country, and again, this is a prediction video. I could be completely wrong in that case. This would be hilarious to see this fail. But, you know, I mean, it's not like I don't know. So it's not like if I'm wrong, it's for a bad reason. It's a prediction, so I just don't know at all. I've also wanted Sun Country to fly here for a long time. It's also my profile photo logo. So, I mean, it's not like the only reason. The more airlines, the better, I think. Again, if Sun Country were to fly here as well, Delta would resume. If Delta resumes it before Sun Country probably won't fly here at all. Just things like that, it's just so much comes into consideration with something like this. I'm looking over more things. It could be Fort Myers. I don't think Frontier would resume Fort Myers. Frontier is more going for competing with routes that have so many available flights already. So they're expanding a ton out of Phoenix and Philadelphia, so competing a lot with American and a lot of routes like that, which is unfortunate because they're ditching airports like Albany, Rochester, Syracuse. They're still at Buffalo. Pretty good too, and they're at Syracuse with their Denver, Orlando, and Raleigh-Durham, which they've been going really well, which is good to see. But they ditched Tampa to Syracuse, they ditched Miami to Syracuse, they ditched Fort Myers to Syracuse. We still have Miami, we still have Tampa. Tampa's on multiple airlines, Miami's on American, of course. So Fort Myers, out of those three, is the only one that would have fit the narrative of being cut and now being brought back. I don't think it would be Frontier, because Frontier's loads were like on average 60% on that flight, because it's like a 4-weekly A320. It didn't fill up very well. Breeze, I feel like could be a possibility. Would be nice to have Breeze. I feel like Breeze is going to fly that route anyways in the future, so right now I'd prefer it to be Minneapolis, especially if we get an airline like Sun Country, but whatever the case may be, it could be a Velo to Fort Myers. That's another huge possibility. It could definitely be a Velo to Fort Myers. It would be another new airline. A Velo is kind of like Sun Country in that they both serve a lot of the smaller markets, and they don't have a ton of competition. So, it could be. They're also both 737 primary operators. Could be Spirit to Fort Myers. I don't think it's Spirit. It's just, it can't be Spirit. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. So, there's that. Thought about Phoenix. I don't think we've ever had a Phoenix nonstop. Could be Los Angeles, but I don't think we've ever had Los Angeles nonstop. I already talked about Toronto. Salt Lake City we've gone over. Thought about Frontier to Chicago O'Hare, but there's just, again, that was even worse than Fort Myers as far as load factors. Just did not work out well. I actually flew that service. It was a really cool flight, and actually the flight I was on had at least probably 70% load factor. It was way back in the day, but I remember it. It was pretty full. Even in the back of the plane, it was pretty full. But it was also during summer back then, and there was a lot of people flying. It's not like, if that service was in like winter, it would have had like 20%. So there's that. Don't think it's O'Hare. And also, we already have O'Hare on United and American, so just completely out of the question. Sorry, I'm not trying to drag this on very long. Yeah, so a route that was previously served in one of our airline partners. That makes me feel specifically what was said is one of our airline partners something will be flying this service or something like that. But one of our airline partners, that could be one of our current airline partners, but they didn't say current. I think as soon as an airline and an airport decide that they are going to have a relationship with each other, flying a certain flight, then they are considered an airline partner, whether it's known to the public or not. So again, that's more reason that it could be Sun Country. I could just be overthinking it and twisting this to make it, fit a narrative, which is not what I try to do. But it's not, it's not like this is completely out of the question. It's completely valid points. I think pretty good analysis. We do have another message here, so let's see what it is. Ohio. I have a whole list here of services that were added to the network and taken away. It's not JetBlue to Fort Lauderdale because we have Allegiant to Fort Lauderdale currently. Wow, Frontier to Fort Myers and Tampa was back in November 2018. I didn't know they served it way back then. That's awesome. So Air Canada discontinued Syracuse to Toronto in 2018. I'm surprised we got our Denver and Raleigh before Orlando on Frontier. That's very interesting. Feel free to skip through this if you guys want to, because again, I didn't make a whole list of things. I'm kind of just going over my evidence that I've had come throughout the day, so I'm having to scroll through stuff. We had United to Cleveland in June 2014. That's when it ended. I know Cleveland was a United hub. It didn't cross my mind that we would have that service. It's interesting. I mean, 2014 is a long time ago, but it also isn't. At this point, it is. It's 9 years. It just doesn't feel like it. It's weird that we had a United to Cleveland back then. That's crazy. Even before that service ended, we had a Legion at Syracuse, St. Petersburg. Wow. So I think that's all I have. I don't think we ever had a San Francisco. So there's a lot of analysis to go over here. I really, really, really hope it's Sun Country. If we get Sun Country to Minneapolis, not only is that a resumption of an old route, it's also a new airline. On top of that, that will encourage Delta to resume their old Minneapolis to Syracuse service. So we'd be killing two birds with one stone almost. Actually not, but it'd be more competition, so the prices would be lower for both airlines because they're competing. We'd have more services, more passengers, more gates filled up, which would lead to more expansions over time, which we've already had. You know what? Because I'm on the topic of expansion, I will go over this too while we wait. I doubt that I'm going to find out here in the next few minutes, but the airport did announce a new master plan with new concourse renderings that would happen in 20 years or so. So I'm going to find those for you guys. This isn't the point of the video, it's just, I guess this could be a whole Syracuse airport news type of thing. So I'm going to show you what those expansions look like. If I can get this photo here. Because I think this is really awesome. Hopefully, I think it should be known to the public. So there they are. Really, really solid designs, I think. I'm going to try to point to it. This one I like the most. The only issue with that is it keeps a lot of the original components to the airport, We would be rebuilding both concourses, which is good. So I do like this design the best. It just looks the coolest. This one here on the bottom, it just looks kind of goofy to me. It just looks like a big middle finger to me. This one just looks generic, and the one below that with the triangle piece I just don't like. So I hope it's this one that they go with, but the preferred alternative, or what they recommended they should do, is not that at all. In fact, it's none of those. It's close to one of them, but it's not the same. It's this, which I think I counted. I'm not going to count right now. I want to say it's like 19 or so gates, which isn't, I don't think it's any more than we have currently. So that's, that's a reason I hope they don't go with this, or if they do, I hope it's just a little bit bigger, a longer terminal, because the more gates the better. So, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff to go through here. Getting more messages here. We're also discussing which gate it would be if Sun Country were to fly here. Wouldn't be any of the Delta gates, or American, or United. Those airlines hunker down and they defend their territory. Occasionally, we've had United park at Gate 20, which is common use between Delta, Frontier, and United. It could be, if it was Sun Country, it would be probably Gate 15, because the only flight that takes place out of Gate 15 is an overnight to DCA on a 175. So it could be 15. That makes the most sense. There's also a ton of space at Gate 15. Otherwise, Gate 15 is for that one flight and overflow. I don't think it would be 20. It could be 20, but 20 is Frontier strictly, or not strictly Frontier. It's common use between Frontier, United, and Delta, but Frontier only uses Gate 20. So I think just Gate 20 would be a little bit too crammed. Also, Concourse B is ridiculously small, and to add more flights to that concourse wouldn't be it just wouldn't be good. Because they have an expansion plan, but they're taking their sweet time. Could be 12, but 12 is for Breeze and American and Allegiant, so just the most likely is 15, which would be really nice. So, yeah, I'm going to cut it off here because I've rambled a lot. I'm going to upload this probably tonight. I will have a follow-up video, whether it be tonight if we discover that Sun Country will be flying to Syracuse, by looking at their schedule. As I said, they tend to upload their new schedules the night before, so if it is Sun Country, I'll find out tonight. Make a video either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when it comes out. If it's too late, I'll probably just go to bed, and then make another video tomorrow. But if it's tomorrow, it's probably going to be Delta. Sorry, I'm just typing on my computer here. So, Syracuse hasn't appeared on the Sun Country schedule yet. Bear with me for just a second, guys. Fort Myers would be great too. We already have so many Florida destinations. Actually, so the Syracuse airport does have a route map with all the airports that we serve, and they updated it. But I think one of our destinations that isn't currently served is still on the map. So whatever one isn't on the map is probably what it is. So I'm going to take a look at that. About us. Statistics, master plan. Where is it? Sorry, guys. Destinations. Here we go. Okay. Alright. Oh, okay. So Fort Myers and Minneapolis aren't on there. So it could be either one of those. I think it's probably Minneapolis. As bad as I hate to say it, I hope it's I hope it's Sun Country, but as bad as I hate to say it, I think it's going to be Delta. Again, we'll see. I'm going to make another video going over this, so we'll just have to wait and see. So, hope you guys enjoyed this little airport update, I guess we could call it, even though it's not like a model update. It's more of me just sitting here and talking at you guys. So I hope to have another video coming out. Very excited for what's to come for the airport. Hope you guys are as well. With that being said, thanks for watching. Check back in later on tonight or tomorrow to see what it ends up being announced. So y'all have a good night, and I'll see you in the next one.